Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hearts Iron 4 with the new Waking the Tiger DLC. My name is Sabouts, and I am joined by Commissar Roach.
Hello.
And we're here. We're playing a co-op gameplay, actually, mainly because I am completely noob at this game. I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, I've watched a little bit of videos, and I did do the Hearts of Iron 4 stream with you a little bit, probably a couple weeks ago, was it?
Almost a month at this point, probably.
Wow, it actually has been that long.
It was the start of February. February.
Yes, exactly. And I played as Italy. I didn't do very well. I was fighting the Ethiopians, and I was losing for a little bit. I started to turn it around.
You did okay. It was.
I
for never having played the game before.
Exactly. I stand by my defense that I was just trying to create a historical world where the Italians won a couple years after they actually historically won.
Yeah. But yes, we are playing Waking the Tiger, which is, I wouldn't say it's on par with Apocalypse in terms of the amount of changes it makes to the game, but it's somewhat close. There's been a lot of quality of life changes and changes to the way leadership, command, and production work in the game. So yeah, we'll be going over those when those come up. But I guess since you've never really played that much, you've played maybe an hour or two, 3 hours maybe total.
Maybe
that's been yeah, basically the stream. So yeah, we have to get our start done. So we have a lot of things in the top of the screen to choose from. So let's go to our research first off. And you can click those to go to your research tab, and we have, as Germany, being a major nation, and a fairly well-off major nation, we get 4 research slots off the top.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to suggest we take up, first things first, on the infantry tab in research, there is a support weapon above the Gewehr 98. Yep. Which is, it's a 1918 era, so we picked that one up. We won't have any delays because of ahead of time penalties. It's only 148 days, and it provides a lot of bonuses to our general infantry units. So I think that would be a good choice for us to take right off the bat. So we'll be taking that. Next thing is in the engineering tab, we have, which is the second to last on the right. This is where things like radar and encryption and decryption and atomic research and all that kind of stuff is at. There's a basically required tech that's electronic mechanical engineering, which gives you a plus 2% or a negative 2% to research time. So it quickens research up by 2% total for 100 days of research, which is perfect. So I think that's a good second one to pick up.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah, and in our industry tab, we have 2 techs immediately that we should take. One of them being basic machine tools, which increases our production efficiency cap by 10%. So basically, how efficient our factories are at building what they build. Fairly no-brainer there. And construction 1, which increases our speed of repair and construction of our factories in our nation. Which is good, because we need more factories to build things to shoot people with.
Nice. Good way to put it.
So that's our research. So we have 4 researches going on right now. A couple of them will finish at the same time, and we'll have mechanical engineering first. It's a good starting round of technologies. And the next thing we have to do is go to our civilian factories, our free civilian factories, which is the little factory icon at the top left of our little pop-ups icons in the center of the screen.
Oh, we actually own 32 factories.
Own 32, yes, but we're using one of them for imports.
Okay,
so essentially the production from one of those is going to another country in terms of what we trade to them.
We can actually see the country that's going to?
Yeah, we should be able to. That's, if we go to our trade tab, we are currently importing tungsten from Sweden.
Ah.
So we're getting 8 tungsten from Sweden for 1 factory, which is fairly good. But we have 31 factories to use on building other factories. So normally what I like doing is I like having a good base of civilian industry, because more civilian factories, basically civilian factories are used to build everything else on this tab. So the more you have, the more things you can build at a time.
Okay.
And it takes, every build slot uses 15 factories at max. So if you have more than 30, or if you have 30, you can have 2 things going concurrently, and you have more of those, you know, in blocks of 15, you get, you know, more things building concurrently.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is we build, let's say 2 civilian factories on our coastline to the north, or 1 civilian factory in Windsor Ims, I don't know how to pronounce that, and 1 in Hanover.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna butcher all the pronunciation of these.
Don't worry, you're gaming with me. I'm gonna screw it up so much more.
Oh, God. At least I'm not the only one.
And I think also 2 in Wurttemberg as well. So
like
we max out the.
Anybody who's German watching this is gonna bleed from the ears.
We're sorry.
We're sorry ahead of time.
And that's 4 factories extra, which is pretty good to start off with. And then bolster that a little bit more with a couple of military factories. You can see where I'm placing them, right?
I am, yeah.
Like
I'm actually, yep, I'm hovering over them on the tab.
Okay. So yeah, I'm...
And you're putting the military all along the border there with
France.
With France.
Yeah, well, I mean, because in all honesty, if we do go to war, we're not going to go to war with France right now. And I also want to use the eastern half of the country for our more important industries, most notably our synthetic refineries.
Ah, okay, okay.
Those produce oil and rubber. And if we don't have those, essentially we're dead in the water, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like Germany was. So having them as far away as possible from any prying bomber legions that somehow get over our country is probably a better idea.
It's almost like we have some advanced knowledge of how this could play out.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sabouts. You shut your mouth. I'm also going to put another civilian factory in Hanover just to make that a 5.
Yeah, that works out.
And I think that's fairly good for right now. Those will be building for a while. It'll take, according to this, 86 days to build that first factory, and 81 days to build the Hanover factory. So it'll be a while before we work through that. So we've got our civilian factories building. Now we have, you can see, the next tab is one that's a more stylized factory with 2 smokestacks and an exclamation point. That is our military factories.
All right.
If you click that, here's our production of things that shoot people, or things that help us shoot people in some way, or shoot other things that shoot people.
Exactly.
It all falls down to that. But as you can see, we have quite a few factories on our Car 98s. We have a couple of factories on support equipment, 1 on towed artillery, 2 on light tank 2, which is our Panzer IIs. Couple on trucks, and then we have a couple of smatterings of military factories on some aircraft. The bottom half is our naval dockyards, and they're just rolling through what they currently have ordered, which is a couple of units of submarines, some destroyers, heavy cruisers, battleships, and two orders of battleships at the bottom of Scharnhorst class. We don't need to worry about our naval right now, because we're Germany in 1936.
Yeah,
so
that's not going to really play that big of a part this early
on. Who knows?
on.
We'll go into that, because we haven't shown any of these people the new focus tree yet. There's some things dealing with that. But where do you think we should focus our spare... We have 8 spare military factories to put on the line. So where do you think we should put them?
Yeah, so I was actually looking at it. I was thinking maybe a little bit more in towed artillery. And you can back me up if you think it's a good idea or bad idea.
I do think that's a good idea. Towed artillery is the backbone of a military in this time period. Technically, it's still a backbone of military in today's time period.
Artillery is a big deal.
Yeah, artillery wins wars. What's that quote? It's infantry win battles, tanks win, or no, it's infantry win firefights, tanks win battles, artillery wins war.
Yes, exactly.
But I'm fairly certain the only people that say that are artillerymen.
Yeah, that is very true. That's like the whole, the big one is bullets don't fly without supply. The only people who say that are supplies people. but it does make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. So how many do you think we should put on there then? Because right now we're making 1.5 guns a day.
Probably focus try to get it up to 2 a day, I'd say, right?
There we go.
There, 2.5.
We're at 2.5 a day. I would also recommend at least one more in support equipment.
Yep, I could see that.
So you can put that one on there. You can actually click something for one. There you go.
Nice. I'm helping.
First click of the game. And now we have the rest to go to. It's up to you. Do we want to be? Do we want to focus down on tanks, or do we want to be more motorized? Do we even care about that, or do we want to be more conventional?
I'm kind of thinking tanks.
Tanks, and stick with normal kind of meat infantry instead of motorized infantry.
Yeah.
Okay. We can.
I think tanks and regular, because motorized infantry. Well, it depends. I mean, some motorized infantry get negative penalties through moving through mountains and rough terrain.
Yeah, but most people do, unless they're mountaineers.
Makes sense.
Or
Okay.
engineers. It's mostly the motorized are faster.
Okay.
They're significantly faster than normal infantry.
Focus on motorized, it might cripple us a little bit if we want to go tank heavy.
True. Well, I put 2 into tanks. We're building about 1.25 Panzer IIs a day. I don't know how they equate that, but that's what we have. You can also see there's symbols at the bottom of each of these little pictures. Like the tank has 720 with an up arrow.
Yeah.
It's currently all the production is going to upgrade the current stock of tanks. So there's probably about 720 Panzer Is in the army.
Oh.
And these are replacing the Panzer Is currently deployed.
Good.
Into Panzer IIs.
So they'll actually get replaced automatically across the map, essentially, without us having to intervene with that.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
And then the Panzer Is go into our reserve.
So we can still utilize them.
Yeah, if need be, we can tap into those resources, or we can convert them into things like self-propelled artillery or self-propelled anti-tank guns, things like that, mounted on the chassis. But you see there's another symbol next to the Opel Blitz, below it, and it's got a warehouse next to it.
Yep, I got
it. We have two trucks in the entire country that are not being used right now.
Oh my.
So if we lose 2 trucks, then we're kind of in a deficit. So I'm going to put one in there, so we're at least building almost 3 a day.
2 whole trucks just in a warehouse somewheres in the country.
Somewhere in Berlin.
Just these 2 trucks.
Yep. And you can see below that is our 3 aircraft production lines. We're building BF-109s, Junkers 87s, and Heinkel 111s. Which are respectively fighters, close air support, and tactical bombers.
Yep. So we could, I mean...
We're building essentially not even 3 fighters a month at this point.
Yeah. Aviation's going to be pretty important, I'd say. I mean, air support...
We have 2 spare factories. So should we focus on close air support and fighters, or just go all in on one of these?
I'm going to say probably split it up, right? Close air support and fighters.
Okay.
Both are probably equally important. He who controls the skies controls the war, or controls the battlefield.
Yeah, we're making about 1 a week. Now, that does go up as time goes on. Like, we're getting that tech basic machine tools, which will increase our production efficiency cap. So right now, our cap is at 50%. So its production efficiency is at 50. So think about, like, if you got to 100% cap, we'd be making twice what we're making right now.
Of what we're making, exactly, which would be wonderful.
And the thing is, like, if you're switching production lines between factories, like if we moved one factory that's working on the fighter to the Junkers 87, it would not be as efficient because it's tooled for the fighters. So it would have a tooling up time to retool for the new production.
Yes, okay.
Same thing for everything. So we have to keep an eye on that. We can't really willy-nilly switch things around. Okay, so that's done. And now we have that little question mark with the exclamation point.
That's the big one. This is our
national focus.
That's the big one.
Yep. This is the new focus tree. And no, everybody watching, they didn't shrink it up a lot. It's just over to the right a bit now. A lot of it's over to the right now. It's very, very wide.
Wow.
So,
yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they had to have it this wide, but either way. We have a couple of choices. Now, we could immediately go to oppose Hitler.
I see that.
Or reoccupy the Rhineland. We also, if we go over to the left, we have a couple of options where we don't have to do anything directly relating to that for right now. We could do the 4-year plan, which gives us 50% research bonuses to industry tech. So we'll have 2 techs that we get 50% bonuses on immediately. And we get access to a new political advisor who's a captain of industry, which gives us construction speed bonuses. That's a very good guy to have. So we can do that immediately and get a little bit of extra time before we make that decision about what we're doing for the nation. Or we could immediately go ahead and figure out what we're going to do for the nation right now. It's up to you. Because I've played this game enough. I know I'm leaving it up to Sabouts for a lot of the decisions for policy.
And this is a big one. This is a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna say that, well, as much as I'd like to oppose Hitler right off the bat, I'm thinking maybe we should go with the 4-year plan first.
Get some infrastructure down.
Yeah,
first.
A little bit of infrastructure, because we have a possibility. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go right into a civil war if we do that.
Yep, immediately fighting with the Nazis.
So maybe a 4-year plan, kind of get ourselves built up a little bit. I'm not
figure everything out before we shoot each other.
Figure out before we start the first episode off with everybody just dying and the country split in half. And
okay,
well, thanks everybody for joining us. You know.
Yeah. Well, then you can pick the 4-year plan and select that and get that going.
All right.
It'll only take about 70 days for that to go ahead.
Yeah, and that's nice.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go out of order here for a second. There's a one here that's insufficient resources. Looks like a steel block, some rubber, and oil.
Yep.
We click that. I think we should use some of our factories that we are currently using to build things to get some of our resources traded to us. The reason why I think that this would be a good idea is because right now in our production lines, we're producing things much slower for some of them because we don't have enough oil and we don't have enough rubber. So like our fighter craft are not producing at a good rate because there's not enough rubber to make them, and our tanks are producing at a lower speed because we don't have enough oil. Same thing with all of our naval equipment.
Yes.
So we could, if you click that, then immediately it should come up with the oil tab, and it produces a list of all of the oil-producing countries that have a export, that have enough to export to us. And what I'm thinking is we should get some oil in from the United States. They have 830 spare units of oil that they're not using. And we can trade that away for 3 factories. And we get 24 oil back. So that gives us a 3 oil positive.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so we'll put that in. So that should be going now.
Right.
And the other thing we need to do is get rubber. And I think we should trade with the Dutch East Indies and 1 factory for 8 rubber, which is exactly what we need.
Perfect.
And there we go. We are no longer in a deficit. It'll take, we'll have to tick over a day,
Yep.
but the convoys will be out there, and we'll have to protect those if we go to war. But we should be fine. And then the next thing, now that we've dealt with that, is we have no units in basic training, which is the green people saluting. If we click that, what do we want to produce? We are currently at a deficit, probably for rifles and stuff, but we can start training these guys at least in like basic, marching orders and like obstacle courses until they get a gun.
Yeah, fantastic. That's exactly. I think start with infantry. Probably, if we're gonna go with tanks, maybe throw a Panzer division.
We don't have spare tanks though.
Ah, okay.
Remember, we're currently at a net 0 tanks because we're replacing the current.
That's right. They're all being
military.
Yep, they're all being replaced.
There's almost 1,000 that are old that we need to replace. So we've got one currently right there, and as you can see, it has no location set and it has an add unit button. If you click the add unit button, it adds it to the current order instead of making separate orders for different like classes, so it'll all be in the same class, and they'll train together. And I think 5 divisions.
Yep.
Straight 5 divisions, and we'll do 2 runs of those. So there'll be 10 total that'll be made out of this, but it'll be in sets of 5. And why don't we train them around Hanover? Select a location and click Hanover, and they'll pop up there when they're done.
Perfect. Yep, I got it right here highlighted. Nice.
There you go. And those are good. I don't think we need anything else really. We don't have enough spare trucks for a motorized division, and no spare tanks for panzer divisions, and we don't really have enough spare infantry equipment for Gebugsjägers. And the cavalry is, well, it's cavalry in 1936.
Yes, we're not really as concerned about that.
Yeah. So I think that's good. Right now, we can look to our current military situation. As you can see, we have a crap ton of units just kind of sitting out here without any units, without any army assigned to them. They're not armies, they're just individual divisions at this point. So why don't we make them into armies and show off the new command system in the game?
There we go.
So, let's go to East Prussia first, because I want you to do this, because we're gonna teach you how to do this. In East Prussia, there's currently 3 infantry divisions, 1 cavalry division. So if you drag box and select them all.
All right, got them.
At the bottom of the screen in the center, there's a silhouette of a man wearing a beret with a green plus mark.
Yep.
Click that.
All right, got it.
You've now created Army 1. And in the top left, you can see there's a click to assign, again at another man with the beret silhouette. If you click that, it will show the commander's pool and what we have available to us.
This is different.
Yes, it is. Now they each have different skill levels for different types of things between, I think, supply, planning, defense, and attack is their 3 stats. And if you click the details button on any one of these guys, they now have a trait tree that they can get. And these cost a new resource called command power, which is the red phone, to buy these when they unlock them and the ability to have these traits. But they can go down these trees and they get some really interesting kind of builds you can have out of this, and they also have terrain traits off on the right side. But either way, we want to have it's a small army of only 4 divisions, so we don't need a tier 4 general to command these guys. So if we go all the way down to the bottom, we have 1 tier 1 general, which is General Frederick Paulus. You can click him, and that will assign him to the army.
Nice.
There you go.
There he is.
So now he is assigned to the army, and they need a front line on the Polish border. So do you know how to make a front line?
I do. Yep. I think I do. We're going for it now.
Okay.
There it is.
Yes.
Nice.
There you go. Now there is one other thing, and I'm going to do this because I'm going to do this. I'm going to select everybody in Eastern Germany, make a new army. I'm going to put this under the command of General Edward von Kleist. So they're now there. I'm also going to make them have a front line on Poland. But you can see now there's a thing to the left of both of these portraits that is has a green arrow next to it, and it's create new army group. So if I click this, I can assign a high tier general, and I'm going to put Walter Model there. And I'm going to select your guys that you made and right-click them into this army group. And now you can see these 2 armies are under the same general.
Wow.
So now you can assign. Now you have like overall commands you can give to everybody, and the general will pass on traits down the line. So you can have like compounding traits that give you better defense or attack or whatever.
Yeah, you can really that gives you a lot of ability to kind of, I guess, play the game you want to play in terms of leaders, because there's a lot of different combinations you can take advantage of.
Yeah, if you wanted to have like a guy at the top with a really good supply throughput, or a guy that had like a logistics wizard or something like that at the top, you could pass that trait on in a bit of watered down form, but pass that trait on to multiple armies below him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because generals only get so many traits.
A real chain of command. I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's still pretty muted from the original, from the chain of command system inside of Hearts of Iron 3, but you know, whatever. I'm not judging, except I am.
A forever. They're getting there.
Yeah, kind of.
Baby steps.
I'll give them credit when I feel like they deserve it. And I'm just going to assign a certain general to these guys. And I made a Western army just to do that. And hey, it's the end of the video.
It is, and that's a good place to actually end it because we just finished all
all the pre-game is done.
Yeah, we're all set up. We're ready to unpause the game next episode.
Yeah.
Now, this is nice, though. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and cut it off here, and thank you guys for joining us for this one. As you can see, everybody's going to learn a little something, even if you're a Hearts of Iron 4 veteran. Hopefully you've learned something, you've taken something from this video. Obviously, I know I've taken a lot from it, and I know that there's a lot of my viewers who probably take a lot from it too, because I've yet to cover this on my channel, but thank God I got you here, Commissar Roach, because you're gonna
doing my best.
I hope you got a strong back. That's all I have to say. Hope you got a strong back. But yeah, so thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.